Today's podcast is sponsored by Mark Smith at Oars Capital, an SEC-registered financial advisor with a legal obligation to put your needs first.
Mark works with small business owners and sole proprietors to set up retirement savings plans. Just go to oarscapital.com.
Country music fans listened to her for over 20 years until her career was abruptly ended.
So the big question is, what's next for Nancy? And this is Chick to Chick.
Laura, the radio is weird right now. It's weird because when I tune in to the radio station with the country music hot hits, I'm not hearing a voice, the voice of our sweet Nancy. Now, Flora, you have had, unfortunately, a similar situation when all of a sudden the career that you've had for 2 or more decades is just done. That's what happened to Nancy.
Yeah, it's crazy. She was on the radio for 20 years. I'm going to say she was the better half of Nancy and Newman. And just like that, she gets the axe. And I went through the same thing.
Yep.
And Carrie, there's no other way to describe it. It's like you're punched in the gut.
Yeah.
You're just like punched in the gut and you're going, wait, what just happened? And then you have to figure out what's next. What am I going to do next? Which brings us to our guest today, Nancy Ryan. Hey, Nancy, thank you so much for joining us. Hey, Nancy.
Oh my gosh.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi. Hello there. It's so good to talk to you both. I really appreciate it.
It's good to hear your voice.
Yeah, you look
Thank
good.
you. I'm well rested.
Nancy,
now.
what the heck happened? 20 years. You're on the radio. Country music fans love you. Everybody loves you.
Thank you. Well, honestly, it's funny. Newman and I just celebrated 20 years together. So I was there I was 5 years before Newman got to Bob 94.9, and then a few years here in town before that. But yeah, it wasn't anything that I did. It wasn't anything that Newman did. It was just, unfortunately, a lot of people have had this happen to them this past year, I was a budget cut. And it's really hard to believe. You think, I think everybody has been a little bit nervous lately just because revenue is down with a lot of companies, but you think the better you are, the stronger you are. But unfortunately, the more money you make, sometimes you're just a sitting target. And that's honestly, I really believe what it was.
You know, and I have this old saying, loyalty becomes a liability because of what you just said. You're there for such a long time. You're making a lot of money and you're not rewarded for being loyal anymore. It becomes a liability.
Yeah, I actually had my adopted mom say to me, look at all the things that you missed over the years by having to do a remote here or, go to Nashville or go to Las Vegas for some of the award shows. But I loved every second of it, like there's nothing I would change. I probably wouldn't have left as many vacation days on the table at the end of every year. And that happened to Newman because, I hate to say, but he's stuck there. He's stuck there without me. And I can't imagine, I don't know what I would do if they took him and left me, because it's devastating. He's my brother. And, being together 20 years, it's like you cut off an arm, it's been really rough for both of us.
I can't imagine it. I also can't imagine what it feels like the next day. It's sort of got to be like a surreal feeling. You wake up and you're supposed to be going and doing what you typically would do, what you're almost like your muscle memory is trained to be doing. And then it's not, and it's not an extended vacation. So what was it like? You wake up and how'd you deal with it?
It is funny because for the past number of weeks, I kind of joke with people and I say, it's like every day Saturday for me. And it's funny, my husband and I have been married for 25 years and we have never, except on the weekends, gotten up at the same time. I'm out the door. I was out the door, 4:30, 4:45 every morning. And my daughter, first year away at college, she's home right now because of, the virtual learning, but her whole life, it was just her and her dad getting up in the morning. It was just surreal. And now This is so funny. Every morning I have her place set up and her coffee ready. And it's like, I'm like a puppy dog and I'm waiting. I'm like, what do you want for breakfast? Do you want pancakes today? And she's like, oh, you're such a morning person.
Back off.
Like,
so I've had to say
Mom.
to her, you know, I'm just making pancakes, but you don't have to eat them.
You're like leaning on the counter. What you doing? What's going on today?
Like,
It's so ridiculous. And I saw a few weeks or a while ago, I just saw one of your podcasts where the two of you had your son on Flora and your daughter, Carrie, and you're talking about college with your kids and, you know, how tough it is. And, you know, I've been going through that as well with my daughter and just the things that chick to chick talk about, you know, right there with you.
Well, we love that. You know, Nancy, I don't think people really understand. I mean, you get it, and I certainly get it. But when something happens like this, that you have been a part of for so long, and it is so abrupt, it feels like a death. And it is a death. It's the death of your career. So I'm so happy to see you smiling through this mourning period. You know, I was mourning the death of my career and you're happy. And that makes us happy. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have to have a positive attitude. It was rough there the first couple of days. But, you know, I'll be honest with you, Flora, you were the, you know, not just you, but you were the one that said to me, you've got a couple of days to do whatever you want, be upset. And then you really do have to pull yourself out of it. And you said your dad always was that way. And my dad has always been that way too. And I'm just like my dad. And I know that there's a lot more out there for me. And it's right here in this town because I've built my reputation here. I wouldn't be able to go back home to West Virginia where I came from because, they sort of remember me there. I was on the radio there, but this is my home. I've had some people reach out to me already. Definitely not on the radio. Radio is not what it used to be. Podcasting, what you guys are doing, that's what it is. You know, it really is. And you do it short, you do it sweet. People's attention spans are short and you fill that space that they need.
Well, so that begs the question. I mean, you don't just have the voice, you have a pretty face too.
Oh,
not
please.
that entirely matters, but people always like, oh, you have a face for radio. Okay.
But, a lot of us do.
You talk about, Flora and I both had to sort of, not create, it's not that this hadn't ever been in place with podcasts, but we had to figure out, what we wanted to do.
Right.
And so what are you going to do? What are your dreams and hopes now you've got this next chapter?
What's next for Nancy?
Yeah.
What's next, Nance?
Well, you'll see me around town. I've had things, you know how you endorse things. You see people on TV, stars that will endorse things. Well, on a smaller level, I've got some people that I've worked closely with over the past few years that, I believe in, that I'll work with. But you can see behind me some of the pictures, Zach Brown, there's a group called the Mavericks. Of course, I got some pictures of Newman over here, but we always love the new artists. They're the best because they're still hungry, but they want you to know them. And it's so fun to get to know the new artists. So I have a feeling I'm going to be doing some stuff with the new artists because one, they're easy, accessible. And I feel that's where I'm going, I mean, we talked to Luke Bryan when he said, hey, I got a song for you here. And we're like, wait a second, kid, go over to the green room. We'll be with you in 5 minutes. And like, nobody keeps Luke Bryan waiting anymore. So, we've been around long enough that the stars and the reps, the record reps know that we care. So you might even hear that guy that I used to work with. With me.
How about that?
Is there going to be a podcast in your future?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. And I know people that do it really well.
You do?
Yeah. So I've gotten so much positive feedback. And Flora, I just love you. I love you too, Carrie. But Flora had called me and she just, before the holidays, she said, enjoy your holidays. And then I'm going to give you a call because I remember you said you can't be silenced. And on a Monday after New Year's, that my phone was ringing and it was Flora. And I just appreciate that so much. I appreciate you both so much.
Well, Flora, you speak for what has happened. I can't, you've been there. So I think, of course, you're going to put your hand out to Nancy and say, girl, come on, we got this. We're going to do this. But that's how women build each other up from situations like this. And that's how we, do what we need to do to keep moving forward. So I'm not surprised the chick over there, she did that.
No. And I have to say, I've always known some really strong women that were around me, but man, all you guys reach out. It's pretty amazing. So thank you.
We love you. You are a class act, and I know you are going to be a success, whatever you decide to do. And you're right. My message is don't let them silence you. Yeah. Don't let anybody silence you. And if you need some help with that podcast, Nance, we're your girls right here. We'll help.
I know that. I know that. Thank you. Thank you.
So it's great to see you. We're so glad to see that you're smiling.
Oh, yes.
And
always.
You're happy. And we wish you the best. Thank you, Nance.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to see you and hug you in person.
Oh, that'd be so nice.
Soon. Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
So good to see Nancy happy and smiling. And, she brought up my dad and she's right. My dad used to say to me, hey, you have 3 days to throw yourself a pity party and then get up and get moving. And he'd say to me, you're not the first person to lose your job and you're not going to be the last person to lose your job. Now get up and move because your son needs you. And that's what Nancy was talking about. I said to her, you got 3 days, girl, 3 days to throw yourself a pity party. Then let's get moving here.
Yeah. And the point is, she is so strong and she really has so much more left in the tank, like I said earlier. So I think, 3 days is a good moratorium to just be like, let me feel bummed out and sad. And then you just kind of have an awakening and go, I got this. I'm not exactly sure where it's going to go, but I got this. And good girlfriends like you is exactly what she needed for that message,
Yeah,
so
no warm and fuzzies from my dad. You got 3 days.
You.
Thanks, Dad. But you know what? It worked. We certainly wish her the best. She's going to be fantastic.
Just fine.
Whatever she does. And it was just so great to see her. Great to see all of you. And we will be back next week to chirp about another topic.